Hey guys, welcome back. I thought I'd do another little baking FAQ since you guys seem to like those kind of videos. The question of today is, why is my cake dry? Now, I'm pretty excited to answer this one because if there's one thing I can't stand, it's a dry cake. So let's get into the reasons as to why this might happen. Okay, first things first, you overbaked the cake. It's pretty obvious really. When you bake a cake, moisture evaporates into steam, and the longer that you bake it, the more moisture that's going to be lost, and so this could cause it to be a little bit dry. So check your timings carefully. Obviously, you do want to bake it for a certain amount of time so that it's actually cooked. Nobody wants a raw, soggy cake, but remember that some cakes actually continue to cook after they've been taken out the oven because of the residual heat left inside. So check your timings carefully. You can test whether your cake is cooked by inserting a sharp knife or a skewer, and if it comes out clean, you can pretty much guarantee that your cake is cooked. Second reason is that the ratio of moistening agents to drying agents wasn't quite right. What do I mean by a moistening agent, which I just completely made up by the way, but I'm really talking any kind of liquid or something that contains a fairly high proportion of water. So that could be water, milk, yogurt, oil, fruits, vegetables, groundnuts actually add moisture, all those kind of things anyway. And then drying agents tend to be flour and cocoa powder. They're all things that dry a cake out. Obviously most cakes do require flour, but it is just really about a balance of the different ingredients and getting it just right. So if you've been making a cake that always turns out dry and it does have quite a high proportion of like flour or cocoa to the rest of the ingredients, then maybe try out a different recipe and see how it turns out. Or if you're feeling a little bit experimental, you could maybe adjust your recipe slightly and add a little bit more moisture, maybe in the form of water or milk. But be careful not to change it too much or it could affect how the cake comes out. Reason number 3, your cake tin was too big. If you put a lot of mixture in one big tin, it's obviously going to take a long time to bake, and so it might start to dry out around the edges before it's cooked in the middle. What I would suggest is cutting down on the amount of mixture that you're making or dividing it between several smaller or shallower cake tins so that they take much quicker to cook and therefore do not risk drying out. Reason number 4, your oven temperature was too high. If your oven's too hot, your cake's going to cook too quickly on the outside before it's cooked in the middle, and this could cause it to be quite dry. Personally, I like to bake my cakes at a slightly lower temperature than the recipe suggests and give them a kind of slower, longer bake. I just find this makes them a lot more moist. Obviously, you don't want to turn your oven temperature down too much because otherwise your cake won't cook or rise at all. So check it carefully. If you want to be super precise, you can use an oven thermometer. Reason number 5, and this is one that you probably wouldn't expect, but you added the wrong proportion of eggs. Eggs are a funny one because they can act as dryers and moisteners at the same time. Egg whites can actually act as a drying agent, so if you're making a cake that contains whipped egg whites, make sure that you're adding the right amount. Remember that eggs do vary in size, so check your recipe to see what size eggs it suggests that you use. I find that most baking recipes use large eggs, which weigh approximately 60 grams out of the shell. Since eggs are made up of approximately 1/3 yolk and 2/3 white, this would make one white weigh around 40 grams. So those are my top 5 reasons as to why your cakes might be coming out dry. Have you had this problem before? Let me know your thoughts, and if you have any questions, whether they're baking or business related, please do pop them in the comments below and I will happily answer them for you. Remember, if you like this video, please hit the thumbs up button and subscribe to my channel so I can make more content like this and continue to share my business journey with you from my little cake shop here in the UK. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you very soon, guys. Bye! Shh! Please! Okay, they said... Oh, it's so... God's sakes. Right. Several smaller or shallower cake tins so that they can take please be quiet. Okay, silence. Okay. Right.